Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Cucchiara, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Cucchiara.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. Just a reminder, for those just tuning in, we're with you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4, the only live 5-day-a-week real estate show in the entire Bay Area. And you could listen to us a couple different ways. One is on your radio at KDOW 1220 AM. You can also listen to us live online if you go to kdow.biz. And also, most importantly, now download the podcast, and you could follow us and listen to the show anywhere, which is really exciting. The podcast is growing all over internationally and on. So we're real excited about that. You could go to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, all the different locations, or you could just simply go to our website at reradiolive.com and download the app to listen to the show as we move along. Most of you know, for the last 4.5 years, the focus of Real Estate Radio Live has been education and information, so we work really hard to have great guests like today. I'll introduce in just a minute. Good content, information to help you, the consumer, make wise decisions in and around your real estate, period. Pretty simple. We'll continue to try to do that. We're a live show. We love your calls. If you'd like to interact with us today, me or my guest, a couple different ways. One is the live, we have a toll-free number, 1-800-516-1220, or most of you like to text. That line is 408-838-9060. And if you're listening to this via podcast later on, again, the 408-838-9060 number is the best way to contact us. All right, let me invite my guest in, Mr. Nav Athwal. I have to say that if anybody's been following the show for a while, they may remember Nav. He was with us a couple of years ago when he was just getting things underway. He's the founder and CEO of Realty Shares, and it's an online marketplace for real estate investing that really is transforming the real estate investment landscape, and offers investors really pre-vetted real estate investments, and he's going to share with us all the exciting things that are going to go on right now with Realty Shares. So it's good to have you back. Nav, how you doing?
Hey, Joe. Great to be back. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
You're welcome. I love this. I was telling you right before we started, I love this because nothing more exciting to me, and I'm sure it's exciting to you, sure, and you'll share it with us. But, you know, to talk to someone that has an idea, a concept, a vision, and then to take that concept or vision and then implement and take the right strategy steps and, really just develop the things that need to be developed in order to get it off the ground and get moving and then have success with it is a lot to be congratulated for. So first and foremost, congratulations from taking this concept to, that just as a concept and now really having success with it. So we'll get into the details, but congratulations for getting this far along here.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Yeah, I remember when it was just a vision, and I had the opportunity to share that with your listeners a couple of years ago, and a lot has changed, and very excited to talk more about it.
Yeah. So let's get started, Nav. If you could tell us, the listeners, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, how you created and really started Realty Shares, and then what your roles and responsibilities are today with Realty Shares.
Sure. So I actually started my career as an engineer, so practiced engineer as an electrical engineer for a while in Oakland, and then got my broker's license in real estate and started selling real estate while I was still working, sort of moonlighting on weekends and nights, selling real estate to make some extra cash. Then decided to go to law school. So I went to law school at UC Berkeley, graduated in 2010. And started practicing real estate law in San Francisco, where I worked on behalf of large institutional clients, REITs, funds, and helped them get permits and entitlements for large-scale projects in downtown San Francisco. During my tenure as an attorney, helped get entitlements for about 3,000 units about 600,000 square feet of commercial space in and around the San Francisco area. So got my, that's what I was doing prior to founding the company. But in 2010, I started buying real estate on my own. Had a lot of great opportunities that I was able to spot and find. And the hardest part about getting deals done in that time was really capital, both on the debt and equity side. Going to a bank, going through that lengthy process, banks were pulling back, credit was getting tighter, and then having to go to friends and family and raise that equity capital. And at the same time, when I was working at the law firm, I had a lot of my colleagues there looking to get exposure to the real estate market. They were heavily invested in stocks experiencing volatility or bonds where the yields were very low and wanted to get exposure to an asset class they didn't know where to get exposure to. So, after going through the pain points of raising capital and experiencing the pain points of others of investing capital in real estate, decided to launch the company Realty Shares, as you mentioned, an online marketplace to connect investors looking for real estate exposure to real estate companies looking to raise capital more efficiently. That's really what sparked the idea, and decided to leave the law firm in September of 2013 to pursue this full time and never look back.
Yeah, great story. And what I love about living right here in the heart of Silicon Valley and stories like yours is that one of the great things we all take for granted, and maybe some of us don't, but the ability to, again, have an idea, start something, come up with something, and see it from start to finish, or at least when you have a vision or a dream, to bring it to reality. And that's one of the things that's so wonderful about America and the way we could operate in a business perspective. And it's just exciting to me to witness this type of activity, especially when someone has this take place like this. So I want to, if you could share with us, I think, again, just to kind of get the listeners, get their feet kind of settled in the foundation of what it really is. It really is as simple as the investment online landscape between investors. But if you could kind of take us through the nuts and bolts of how it works and what a person does when they go onto the website, and why it's really changing the nature of investing in real estate going forward here in the future.
Yeah, sure. So on its simplest terms and at the highest level, it is an online marketplace that connects investors looking for exposure to real estate companies looking to raise capital. So it almost functions like a E-Trade, but instead of getting exposure to the equities markets, you're getting exposure to real estate, and mm-hmm. So that's at the highest level. But I think you need to dig a bit deeper to really get a sense of why it's such a game changer. So historically, the reason real estate is so hard for just general consumers and individuals to get access to is, one, a lot of people have day jobs and they don't have the time it takes to get to know an asset, acquire an asset, and operate an asset. If you're a doctor or you're a lawyer, an accountant, teacher, you may have liquid capital to invest, but you're not going to do it in an asset class that requires a lot of your time. So going out and buying an asset on your own isn't actually top of mind for a lot of potential investors in real estate that may want to invest. And then two is, if you do have access to a private, a syndicator or an offline real estate sponsor that is raising capital, and you may be able to participate in a very passive way in their property, typically you have to fork over, $150,000, $200,000 to participate, because they're not going to accept small check sizes due to the inefficiency. So what we created is a way for individuals to get streamlined access with smaller check sizes into the real estate investment market. So our minimum investment for investors is actually $5,000, and for first-time investors, it's actually $1,000. So you can get exposure to an asset that historically has required a lot of capital in a much smaller and less capital-intensive way. So that's the first, real game changer in what we're doing. The second mm-hmm. is it's technology, right? We operate an online mm-hmm. platform at realtyshares.com. You create an account in a few minutes. You get access to a whole host of opportunities in various markets around the country, California, Florida, Texas, Chicago, et cetera, and you're able to invest in about 5 minutes. So it's a really streamlined process from creation of the account to investment of the property, and then you have access to a dashboard where you can monitor your earnings, your tax documents, your legal documents. So it's taking all of the inefficiencies that have existed in the real estate investment market and been made it inaccessible for a large portion of the general public, and sort of turning those on their head by creating a streamlined platform to connect investors to real estate companies. So one base of our users is the investor, and that's what we're solving for them. But then the other side of the marketplace is real estate operators. And if you think about the way real estate operators raise money for their deals, it's pretty inefficient, whether you're raising the debt or the equity piece. You know, the debt, you may go to a bank, you may go to a mortgage broker. In a lot of ways, those things can work, and they're good for a lot of operators, but they do take time. There is an efficiency that we're trying to eradicate through technology, and as well as the equity piece. If you have the debt, you still have to worry about the equity, the down payment. We can help with that as well. So we're really providing these real estate companies, operators, access to a new source of investors they've never had access to before, and a way to raise that capital that oftentimes takes as little as a week or a week and a half to really complete the process. So it's really providing efficiency to both sets of both sides of the marketplace, both the investors and the real estate companies. Yeah,
well said. That's exciting. You know, as you explain this to us, Nav, one of the things I'm thinking about is, you know, I'm in the residential financing side, so I help people finance mortgages on the residential side. And it is still, I mean, I'm in this industry, I'm in this business, but it is a ridiculous process. Let's face it. I mean, and I'm saying that for a person who's in this business. And so what you should do next is we should get together and really develop a way to let people, you know, get mortgages right alongside these investments.
Yeah, I would love to, Joe, and I think, you know, we joke, but I really do think there's a lot of ways to work with the existing stakeholders, to work with brokers, to work with mortgage brokers to really help their clients get more efficiency in ways they're not getting it today. So,
well, the good news is, you know, this is all really it's changing the landscape, and I think, you know, probably the word around that everybody hears now is, you know, everybody's afraid of being Ubered, right? It's kind of each industry now is looking over their shoulder, going, okay, how are these things going to change? And I think several years ago we had some false starts, I know, in the mortgage industry and some of this online stuff, but it's real. Now it is real, and the technology exists, and I think the appetite for the consumers and the knowledge and the use of technology is really taking hold, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. And, you know, it ultimately, you know, what's happened is consumers have less patience today than the present.
Right.
You know, for example, millennials have a lot less patience than baby boomers because they're used to getting things very efficiently, from their car to their hotel room through Airbnb, the car through Uber, through on-demand food delivery services. They want things when they want things on their terms. Yeah. And so any sort of inefficient processes that exist, whether they be mortgage or investment advisors for investing services, they're going to scrutinize those a lot more. And if they can get a more efficient solution elsewhere, there's really through technology, they're really going to look at that and say, well, why am I not doing that? Why am I still using very inefficient processes to get things done?
Yeah. Well said. All right, we're going to have to take our first break, Nav, and the listeners out there, this is really good stuff. You want to hang on and listen. If you have any questions for Nav, 1-800-516-1220. Text us your questions, 408-838-9060. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Cucchiara.
Welcome back in. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live. We're joined for the entire hour online with Nav Athwal. He's the founder and CEO of Realty Shares, and I would recommend that you go to the website, take a look at it, Realty Shares, REALTYSHARES.com. And we're getting into nuts and bolts of how this this landscape, this marketplace online is transforming the way real estate transactions take place. I think it's great, and I love the future. I love the use of technologies and efficiencies, and Nav and his team have certainly achieved that for sure. So, Nav, kind of going through it, maybe you could explain or share with the listeners. I mean, you caught some people's attention that really think that you have something here, because I know you got it started, you got some, you got the foundation laid, you were getting some results, and tell us now about, if you can, as much as you can, about some of the interest you got from investors and, how that side's going and what the plan is for the next, say, 18 to 24 months.
Sure, Joe. So we started the company when I officially really jumped ship from the law firm was when I went full-time in September of 2013. At the time, we went through an accelerator in Silicon Valley called 500 Startups, founded by some of the old PayPal guys that were very successful in disrupting payments. So went through that for about 4 months. We're funded by a small amount of capital. Stayed very lean because we only raised about $50,000 there. Three of us, one engineer, me, myself, and one of our biz dev guys. So went through that for 3-4 months. In that phase or process or time frame was really about showing product market fit. So really making sure what we're trying to create, a more efficient way to raise capital, invest in real estate was actually something people wanted. And we were very surprised to see very early on, not very surprised, but very happy to see very on the enthusiasm on both sides of the marketplace. We were able to start closing deals very quickly, start building out the product, the technology with our engineers, and then raised a round of capital, about $2 million, from a prominent VC firm called General Catalyst Partners in April of 2014. If you don't know them, they've invested in companies like Kayak, like Warby Parker, Airbnb.
Oh, great.
So we used that $2 million to really start growing the team. At the time we raised that $2 million, it really was just 3 of us still. So we started hiring, deal originators, underwriters, salespeople. We started hiring some ops people, more engineers, et cetera. And the game, the purpose there was to really start scaling operations because we were seeing a lot of investors wanting to use us to invest in real estate, a lot of real estate companies wanting to use us to raise capital, and so we wanted to be able to expand quickly enough to cater to those users. So we hired the team, proved out growth, and we ended up ending 2014 with about $23 million in originations across 10 states in the U.S. So that was our first full year in business. And then in 2015, we raised another $10 million from a venture capital firm named Menlo Ventures, and they're one of the largest investors in Uber. So you mentioned Uber. So they are one of the investors in Uber, and that $10 million is really to use to scale further because we were, again, growing more quickly than we anticipated, wanted to hire out more team members and introduce more technology into the process. We just finished our last year, 2015, with about $90 million additional dollars.
Wow.
Now we've done close to $120 million through the platform, and just recently raised another close to $20 million round of financing from Union Square Ventures, and they're a very prominent fintech investor, invested in Twitter, but also invested in companies like Lending Club, Funding Circle, Circle Up. So very excited to be capitalized with close to $30 million of capital now. And our goal, our vision, our mission for the company is, we have customers that are very happy with what we've created. They're getting a lot of efficiency on the company side, getting an ability to raise capital like they've never been able to do before. They're repeat customers. It's very efficient. We raise capital in 2 weeks. And on the investor side, we see investors loving our platform because they're able to get exposure to so many different types of real estate properties, single family, retail, office, multifamily, and they're able to get exposure to markets they wouldn't have been able to get exposure to before. Real estate tends to be a local investment, but if you can get exposure in a streamlined way to a market that you think has good characteristics, but you just can't build the infrastructure to get there, our marketplace definitely is. So our goal is really to continue growing, continue to provide technology tools, et cetera, to make the investing process simpler and easier. I think one thing we've come up against as we've grown is, first-time investors in real estate have a difficult time deciding if they should invest in one property over another. So some of the goals we have introducing simplicity into the process so investors can use certain metrics to make decisions around what kind of investment they want to make. And on the real estate company and operator side, real estate underwriting is a very, very manual process. We have a team of about 9 underwriters. So we really want to introduce more technology into the process so we can reduce some of the manual processes around underwriting. And, eventually my goal is to build a marketplace that can really serve as a one-stop shop for real estate capital for the sub-institutional part of the market.
Great.
Those are deals that, are $40, $50 million total size and less. If you're talking about $100 million deals or larger, you tend to have efficient capital because the check sizes are large enough for a pension fund or an endowment. But for deals that are smaller than that, you really don't have that same efficiency. So it's really building a marketplace where we can provide a diverse set of capital for that part of the real estate market.
All right. That's a lot of great stuff. We're going to take a quick break, come right back. You really need to call this guy, ask him some questions, even more so. Take a look at the site. Give us a call, 1-800-516-1220. We'll be back with you to continue in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Cucchiara.
Welcome back in. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live. And we are loaded so far this year, 2016, kicking off with some outstanding guests and really sharing some great information. Today we are joined by Nav Athwal. He is the founder and CEO of Realty Shares. Had the pleasure of having Nav on a couple of years ago when he was just getting things started, and it's really exciting, and for him and for actually the consumer, for me, everyone, to see a transformation like this, go from an idea now into a concept and really doing well. And if you missed the first couple of segments, raising quite a bit of money now and has the attention of the fintech industry. Before I this is kind of interesting. This whole fintech movement is really it's around. Nav, anything and everything around kind of the financial transactions, if you will, whether it be, personal loans, auto loans, real estate loans, just any kind of in nature. Is that everything kind of falling under the fintech umbrella?
Yeah, I mean, those are examples of fintech companies that are solving, the lending process by creating like online marketplaces, lending clubs, an example, SoFi for student loans. But I think fintech actually is a lot broader, and it really covers anything that any sort of financial technology. So it could be a payment system like balance payments or Bill.com. It could be a new way to kind of a new investment advisor platform like Betterment and Wealthfront. And then there's the online marketplace lender. So fintech is actually very broad. But it is one of the more exciting developments in the venture community because things have changed so little with banks and with how investments and payments and things work. So, yeah,
I'd say let's change those banks forever. Anyway, let's we got a couple minutes left in this segment, I think. But if we have to roll over in the next one, that's fine. But just take us through the consumers out there listening, and if you could take us through how simple it is from the time they go on the website to kind of create the account, look at different investment opportunities, how they go about doing the transaction. Just kind of take us through that, if you would, and share with just how simple that is.
Sure. So when you actually log into our website or actually visit our website, www.realtyshares.com, you'll see a place on the website to sign up for a free account. So, you create an investor account. You'll go through a 3-step process where we'll ask you, for some personal information, some high-level financial information, and then just your preferences around the kind of deals you'd like to see. That process takes less than a minute to complete. Very streamlined, very easy. Once you do log in and sign up, we'll send you an email to confirm your account. Once you've confirmed the account, then you'll have access to a dashboard and also access to a portal to browse investments. So that's where you'll be able to see a whole host of investment opportunities and sort them by return, by geography, by property type, et cetera. So we try to make it as less cumbersome as possible, so you can really look at deals quickly, determine if they're a fit for you or not. If you like a deal on that Browse Investments page that you think you want to find out more about, you can click on it and get access to a deal page, which will give you information on the property, information on the sponsor offering the opportunity. You'll get documents on the property and appraisal, other information you may want to see, and really get to analyze the deal a bit further. And if you want to invest after seeing that information, we want informed investors that know what the investment is all about before they kind of take the dive and invest. Then you go through a simple 3-step investment process, which includes, again, entering in some additional tidbits on the investment vehicle you want to invest through. We do support both individuals as well as LLCs and trusts. Then you enter in then you DocuSign your investor package, which actually is a legal document that gives you a right to the investment. And then you could transfer your investment amount through ACH, which takes, again, another few minutes. So all in, an investment could take 5 minutes. And once the funding goal for the investment is met, meaning once the target funding amount has been reached, then you're an investor in the deal, and you start getting payments as little as a month after the investment is completed.
That's
Those
great.
payments are directly debited into the bank account that you use to make the initial investment, and then you have access to your dashboard for additional information like tax documents, earnings, et cetera.
All right. This is good stuff. We're going to have to take another quick break. When we come back, much more. Give us a call. You got to have a question for this stuff. This is amazing stuff. 408-838-9060. This is Joe Cucchiara. We'll be back in just a couple minutes to continue.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Cucchiara.
Welcome back in. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon, spending some time with us. Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live. We're joined on the line for the entire hour here. Just a couple more segments left by Mr. Nav Athwal. He is the founder and CEO of Realty Shares. You want to go check this out. This is the new, really the new way of doing transactions online in regards to real estate. Changing industry. One of the starters really that jump started this concept and idea. So if you have any questions for Nav, or I would encourage you to go to the website, take a look and see what it's all about. It's a real simple, easy way to invest in real estate. It really empowers you. This is, as I was thinking about it, Nav, that was the word that I was thinking about. I mean, it does a lot of things, efficiencies, process. It's just all that so simple and really easier through the transaction process. But the one thing that comes to me of this is just more empowering, and that's really what the consumer is looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a lot of benefits the platform offers, but it really gives you a sense of control and a way to invest and empowers you to really take, use your own judgment and control the process of where your money is going and how your money is working for you. So I do think that is at its very core what we're allowing consumers to do.
Yeah. What is the as we really launch into 2016? You've raised another large amount of money. It's exciting to know that you're going to be, I'm sure, adding more people, more growth, more scalability. What are the types of things that we could look for as we roll into 2016 towards the end? What are some of the goals, objectives, if you could share them with us? What are some of the things you guys are looking to do on the site? Maybe different concepts, options to consumers. What's going to be happening? And then, lastly, what kind of numbers do you expect to do this year?
Sure. So in terms of what we're working on, yes, we are going to use some of the capital we raised to hire more team members. We've been running pretty lean, so being able to hire more people on the credit and underwriting team, the technology and product team, the marketing team is really part of the reason we raised the capital. And with that will come a lot of improvements to the platform. And we're actually launching a new site update in about 3 weeks that'll provide a much more sort of user-friendly experience to a lot of our investors. Mm-hmm. I mean, we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the initial version, but it needs updating. So we are excited to launch that courtesy of our product and engineering team. And that will give consumers an even easier time signing up and getting to know what we do, and really will provide more of an educational element so consumers could learn, what it is they can invest in before even having to sign up for an account. So that's some of the goals there. Some of the other things we're working on is, again, we want to start simplifying the way consumers perceive deals. So right now we're launching anywhere from 25 to 30 deals a month. So that kind of deal volume, could, for a first-time real estate investor, provide some level of confusion. And so our goal is to really start providing, if you're familiar with Lending Club, what they did early on was provide risk-based scoring for a lot of their consumer loans. So if it's an A loan, you're expecting a lower return, but it's also a safer investment. So our goal is to provide some level of risk scoring so consumers that want to take a bit more risk but are okay because they want to earn that higher return can do so, but can really quickly determine which properties will help them meet their investment goals. So providing better credit and risk scoring, providing improvements to the product and when it comes to signing up, investing, and managing those investments are some of the goals. But we also want to expand our products. So we've really to date been focused on two types of financing products for real estate companies. One is single-family bridge loans, so fix and flip loans for single-family operators, and commercial equity for operators looking to acquire multifamily, retail, office, industrial, et cetera. So we are looking to expand that. We're rolling out a single-family term loan product for rental properties probably in the next 6 months, and then we're also going to be launching a commercial debt product for operators looking for debt for their commercial property. So one of the goals is to really start broadening the product types because a lot of our current customers are starting to ask for additional products. And in terms of our growth, we did about 4x in 2015 what we did in 2014, and we'd like to hopefully replicate that or at least do something close to that in terms of multiple. But again, a lot of that will be influenced by our automation and technology. So our goal really for me is, continue to be very tight on credit underwriting standards. Today we haven't had any defaults or investor losses while really providing a way to scale the volume. So those are some of the things we're working on.
Very good. Just a couple of minutes left in this segment. Honestly, as I listen to this, to me, what is your thought? How far away are we, Nav, from us being able to have this same conversation about people making residential transactions in this same format online? I know there's more involved with residential because it's just a whole new can of worms. But can you see that in the future?
I can, and you actually are already seeing it. So there's a platform or a company called Social Finance. They go by SoFi for short, and they initially started, after during like the time of the last boom in 2005, 2006, 2007 to really provide student loan financing. So a lot of students are given these rates regardless of what school they're going to and what their job prospects may be after graduating. So SoFi came in to provide a more optimized solution for students, but has actually expanded to do a lot more. They've expanded to do consumer, and just most recently in the start of 2015, they launched a mortgage product. So a way for the consumers to actually get mortgage loans in a much more efficient way. So we're starting to slowly see the trend towards providing even efficiency in the mortgage process. And I think, although Realty Shares is not focused on that, I think we will see other platforms emerge because, as you know, Joe, it's such an inefficient paper-filled process. I mean, you go through, my wife and I got a mortgage in 6 months ago, and it was an insane process. So there's definitely efficiency to be had there, and I think there are companies thinking about it and already starting to execute on it. Yeah,
I think they are for sure. Well, we're going to take another break here in a second. We come back, though. What I want to do is we're going to have one more segment, but to anyone that has any questions, it looks like we do have a text or one or two texts I'll read when I come back. But this is your last chance to talk to Nav. This is a great, great opportunity. If you think that the only way you could buy investment property is to go out and search it yourself, I'm telling you, you have a lot to learn. This is a great opportunity. This is kind of the way of the future. And it's going to be changing the landscape, and it already has, and it will continue to do that. So if you have any questions, 1-800-516-1220 or text 408-838-9060. This is Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back to finish up in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Cucchiara.
Welcome back in. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. Just moving our way through. Unfortunately, it's just a couple minutes left here in the show. We've had Nav Athwal with us the entire hour. He's the founder and CEO of Realty Shares. Great concept. Came up a couple of years ago and really taking off, raising a lot of money and taking this to the next level, growing leaps and bounds, and just another way to add more efficiencies and convenience to the consumer and really empowering the consumer to make these transactions online. Well, just a few minutes on this last segment, Nav. What would you say to the person that says, well, gee, I'm just so used to contacting someone if I wanted to invest in a property in Texas or Georgia or Illinois or even California, it doesn't matter. What would you say to someone that said, I'm just so used to that, walking to a person, going to see the property, flying across the country to do it? What would you say to someone that that asked you that question?
I think there's going to be a certain set of consumers that want to still stick to the old ways of investing in real estate despite the inefficiencies, and maybe they just feel more comfortable seeing the property and walking the property, et cetera. But what I'd say is, there's a lot of very busy consumers out there that want to put their money to work, and they're investing in, public companies, they're investing in bonds. But real estate, just for the consumer that's on the move, that wants to get exposure without doing the legwork, we are the platform that gives that consumer access to real estate in the same way they would get access to a publicly traded stock. And, for Realty Shares, one of the most important things we do here is our underwriting process, our curation process. So even though the consumer is now walking the property, when they get a deal on our platform, it has a deal that's gone through a curation process with our underwriters. And out of every 20 deals we see, we accept maybe one or two. So there is a curation function. We do provide consumers the ability to, stay in California, stay in Los Angeles, invest in Austin or Dallas and Jacksonville. So we do provide opportunities for you to get exposure to a variety of markets in deals that have actually been curated by our underwriting team and using some of our technology algorithms. So, not every consumer may want to invest to an online platform in real estate, but I do think we do appeal to a broad set of consumers that really want exposure to real estate and want to do it very efficiently and want to use technology, and that's what we're all about. But we're also about investor protection and making sure we're curating and vetting the properties in a way that is consistent from deal to deal, but also does weed out the deals that we don't think have a good chance of success.
Yeah, very well. And just if you can, in a short period here, within less than a minute, is in general, we didn't get to this, but in general, could a person look to save? I know obviously time savings are tremendous, efficiencies are tremendous. Could they look to save in their investment in terms of fees and costs too, or is that about the same, or do you have a kind of a take on that?
Yeah, so fees and costs, that's something we try to keep very low for our investors. So we charge a 1% servicing fee, so it's free to invest, it's free to create an account, but on an ongoing basis, to provide the dashboard and the servicing function, we will take a 1%, maybe up to 2%, no more than that, fee from the investor to do that. But we also do monitor the fees that the real estate companies are putting on the deal. So in a typical real estate transaction, you may see an asset acquisition fee. So we monitor that and try to keep those very low. So it is a pretty low fee way to get involved, especially if you compare us to like a REIT model, a real estate investment trust, where fees can be 10, 12% on the front end and have nothing to do with success of the deal.
Yeah, I would agree. That's well said. All right, well, we're going to have to duck out here in a minute, but I want to make sure I get the info. So if you could give the listeners, again, website or any other information they should know about how to follow and keep an eye on what's going on, and go onto the website, what's the best place to reach you or get more information?
Yeah, just visit our website, www.realtyshares.com. We have a support center, an FAQ center, where you can get a lot of your questions answered, how the process works, how we vet sponsors. You can email us at invest@realtyshares.com if you have general inquiries around investing. If you have inquiries around raising capital, it's raise@realtyshares.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is Realty Shares. Like us on Facebook. Our handle is there's also Realty Shares. So it's been a pleasure, Joe. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nav. Great as usual. We're going to have to duck out. Great show. Great information. Wonderful, wonderful story. Stick with us. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon and evening. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Tune in, log in, download our podcast. Discover more at RERadiolive.com. RERadiolive.com.